and spend the rest of the evening.
Looks like our boy been through it. Like, yo, why are you looking like that? It was just a game. You took one L. Relax. Come on now. Nothing crazy happened now.
With his parents.
Or yet.
Later, in the void.
What's going on, everyone? It's your boy. What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Savvy, and welcome back to the Savvy Show. And in today's episode, you guys see the thumbnail. We got an Among Us SCP, and I knew the day will come sooner or later, but I didn't think it would be this soon. This is an Among Us SCP. From what it looks like, it's SCP-5167. When the imposter is sus. Yo, I'm so excited. I'm sure this is going to be a comedic one. I don't see this being really creepy or scary. It's just fascinating that Among Us character is an SCP. Yo, times are changing. But with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this reaction, please remember to smash that like button along the way, smash the sub button, join the family, and also turn on that bell to get notified with each and every upload. And special shout out to SCP Exposed Foundation Tales Animated for bringing this Among Us SCP to fruition. Yo, I'm excited. I can't wait to dive deep. So with that being said, without any further ado, let's get this show started. Alrighty, SCP-5167, when the imposter is sus. Let's go.
It had been a tough day at school for Jake, and he couldn't wait for the bell to ring to signal the end of the day. He watched the clock on the wall. It seemed like an eternity before the hands reached 3 o'clock. The alarm sounded. He picked up his bag and ran down the corridor and out of the school gates. All he wanted to do was to get home and play his favorite game, Among Us. He hoped that his parents weren't home yet because they didn't like him spending too much time in front of his computer, so they would probably make him wait until after dinner to play.
That moment before, he got off the bus and was running home, like that moment in itself, man, that brought back some memories. I used to always run back from school, running home to play MW2. Oh my god, man, times are easy back then. But anyway, I just love that little moment.
He just stepped through the front door to his house when he heard his mom call out, "Jake, is that you?" Jake sighed and went through to the kitchen where his mom was preparing dinner. "Come and help with these vegetables," she said. "Oh, Mom, I want to play on my computer." "You know the rules. Wait until after dinner." Jake
this
knew
is so accurate.
No point in arguing with his mom. She would never change her mind. As soon as dinner was finished, Jake ran up to his room and switched on his computer. He waited impatiently for the screen to light up. He opened up the app and joined a new lobby. There were only 4 players so far, so Jake sat back and waited for others to join.
Yo, this is a thing. This is crazy.
Another player joined. His name was Phthonus. As they waited for other players to join, Phthonus started talking in the chat function. He was ranting on and on about the president of Greece. Jake rolled his eyes. Don't know why this dude is so riled up about the president, Jake thought.
What the fuck,
Eventually, they had 10 players and the game began.
I wonder if that Among Us character is the actual SCP-5167, because I don't think this game itself is SCP. I think it's an actual entity, an imposter that is sus within the game, so it might be that person.
Jake saw that he was a crewmate. Now he had to work out who the imposter was. He looked to see what tasks he had to perform. What? Only 2 tasks? This is going to be easy. Jake pulled the trash chute lever and watched as the trash went down. Now I've just got the wires to connect. He took the red wire and put it into the red socket. Then he did the same with the blue. As he did, he noticed on the left of the screen that 1 player had left the game. That's weird. I wonder why he's gone. Jake carried on, but then another 2 players left the game.
Phthonus?
He wondered what was going on, but then other players left until there was only Jake and Phthonus left.
Phthonus.
The game automatically finished then, and Phthonus had won. He was the imposter. Jake was disappointed with the game, and he didn't want to play anymore. He went to switch off the computer, but it wouldn't switch off. Jake wondered what was going on, and was starting to feel a bit scared. He decided he would go downstairs and spend the rest of the evening.
Looks like our boy been through it. Like, yo, why are you looking like that? It was just a game. You took one L. Relax. Come on now. Nothing crazy happened now.
With his parents.
Or yet.
But when he walked into the lounge, he suddenly started freaking out. "Who are you? You're not my mom and dad. You're someone else pretending to be them." "Jake, what's wrong with you? Of course we're your parents." No, you're not. Tell me where they are. What have you done with them?"
Yo.
Jake started frantically pacing around the room, holding his hands over his ears. He didn't know what was going on, but he knew one thing for sure. These people had done something with his parents and were probably going to hurt him too.
This is really crazy. He's basically got brainwashed from the game, the Among Us game. He thinks everyone's an imposter now, I'm assuming. Even though his parents are like right in front of him. What is he actually seeing? I want to see what we see from his eyes, from his own perspective. Yo, this is... Oh, don't kill him, bro. Don't kill him.
If you don't tell me where my parents are, I'm calling the police. I think we'd better call the doctor. I think you must be overtired. That's why you're acting so paranoid. Jake's mom called the hospital and told them how Jake was acting. When she put the phone down, she turned to Jake. They're going to send a doctor out to see you. All Jake wanted to do was get out of the house, but his parents persuaded him to stay and at least let the doctor examine him.
Let's see.
About 10 minutes later, there was a knock at the door. That must be the doctor, said Jake's mom. But when she opened the door, Jake saw two men in suits standing there. We need you to come with us, they said. Welcome back to SCP Exposed. Today we bring you the Keter class subject, SCP-5167.
Keter class.
Before I go on, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any more SCP stories.
Your boy's part of the family.
SCP-5167 is an entity known to manifest as a player of the online multiplayer game Among Us, under the username Phthonus. It will randomly join multiplayer lobbies of the game and participate as an ordinary player would, with the majority of its anomalous effects only becoming obvious following the initial encounter.
Dang.
During this initial encounter, it has been observed to communicate using the in-game chat.
Like, how can anyone even compete? Like, how can anyone even compete? It's heckin' Greece. Member Sparta, that's probably the same country. I don't know. What?
Chat function, among the majority of its speech, consists of lengthy diatribes produced at little prompting from other players. Individuals who interact with SCP-5167 in-game will subsequently begin to exhibit symptoms of paranoia and cap-cross delusion.
Bro, that's
This
crazy.
is a psychiatric disorder in which an individual comes to believe that those around them have been replaced with identical imposters. The severity of these symptoms varies from person to person, but in initial cases was significant enough to prompt acts of perceived self-defense from those affected.
Yeah, this is definitely Keter
These symptoms
class.
persist for a period initially believed to encompass several months, but has lessened to 1 or 2 weeks as observation has continued.
Bro,
SCP-5167 was initially discovered by the Foundation after a period during which the player Phthonus was a minor urban legend in the Among Us community.
Phthonus?
Although interest in the figure died down fairly quickly, Foundation web crawlers flagged recorded accounts of players' encounters with the entity as potential anomalous phenomena. Learning computer PSI-2, known as Meeville, was assigned to track sessions of the game until SCP-5167 was encountered.
Is this guy an actual just SCP within like the game, or is SCP the person playing as Phthonus that has those powers? It could be either or, but I think it might be the first. It's just just a character in the game that's doing all this stuff that has the powers.
When the other players in said session were tracked
I'm
down,
number
they
one.
exhibited the symptoms now associated with SCP-5167. Foundation efforts to track the individual behind SCP-5167 have thus far proven unsuccessful. All attempts to locate the internet access point used by the anomaly have led to deserted home addresses in rural Greece. Foundation web crawlers are to monitor.
He was talking about Greece a lot in those weird-ass messages he was sending, so...
online communities for mentions of potential SCP-5167 sightings. In cases where these sightings are confirmed, all direct witnesses are to be apprehended and all secondary evidence removed from the platform in question. Apprehended witnesses are to be held until symptoms of SCP-5167 abate, and are then to be amnestized and released under a standard mental breakdown cover story. Michael Ross, the intelligence director of Site-22, gave the following report on SCP-5167. As requested by head researcher Abrams, I've had the Site-22 analyst look into the progress of SCP-5167's anomalous effects over the period we've observed it, and the results are much as I expected. When we first discovered it, for the sake of argument, let's say this is when SCP-5167 first came into existence, the impact it had on its victims was severe. I don't think I have to remind you of what Billy Heth did to his family's faces.
It's always a Billy, bro. Like, if you know, you know. Well, but we want to keep it pushing. I'm just saying.
But since then, almost immediately, really, since that first couple of manifestations, the potency of its effects has started to decline. Full detachment from reality became delusion, and delusion has now become paranoia. Also, the intensity of that paranoia is lessening in each case.
Oh, okay.
This is all conjecture, of course, and shouldn't be taken as gospel. But based on what we've observed of this anomaly thus far, our estimation is that SCP-5167's anomalous effects will become inert by the end of the year. Whether it'll keep popping up in these video game matches is another story. The following is a log of
There's no way you could contain this SCP, though. Like, how can you contain this SCP to even give it a class? It's in a game. Unless your way of containing it is, like, banning the game completely so no one could play it, which in turn will, you know, he will be banned too, along with the game. Unless you could pop another game, but I doubt that. But either way, how could you, like, capture this pixel? Like, what? Come on.
SCP-5167 as observed by Learning Computer PSI-2 in a game of Among Us. SCP-5167 participated in the game without communicating until specifically addressed by other players. Red, where were you when the reactor was called? John Arbuckle said. Where was I? I was there when the mountains were newborn and the oceans virginal. I was there when gods walked among men, and their wisdom was cast down like sunlight. I was there when mankind was capable of legends, said SCP-516.
This nigga's capping! Bro, this is hilarious. This boy is definitely sus. He's going balls to the wall with it, too. Bro, I need to hear this one more time. This dude, relax.
And the oceans virginal. I was there when gods walked among men, and their wisdom was cast down like sunlight. I was there when mankind was capable of legends, said SCP-5167. And now, I find myself in a world that has forgotten even the taste of life, even the very concept of life beyond existing from one day to the next. Mere continuance, where all the world is wasted away in idle play of emotions that once rang true. I am in a world where even the gods are forgotten, their bones washed away by time. A world where man has moved on, where all the legacy I have left are 3 sentences on Wikipedia. I thought my time had come again. I thought this could be the new me. But
what's the 3 sentences? Maybe this guy's not actually capping. Maybe he's actually just trapped in this game. Or this is the state that he was reduced to. What the heck? Well, this got a little cool.
Come again. I thought this could be the new me. But this is nothing. Let me stay dead this time. I'm tired. There was a long silence, and then another player spoke. Red is sus, said your mom. Yeah, vote red, said
Oh my god.
Following the game, all participating players were tracked down and treated as containment procedures dictate. What did you think about that SCP case?
This was cool. Hold on. I want to hear the whole dialogue again.
John Arbuckle said. Where was I? I was there when the mountains were newborn and the oceans virginal. I was there when gods walked among men, and their wisdom was cast down like sunlight. I was there when mankind was capable of legends, said SCP-5167.
It's so interesting.
And now, I find myself in a world that has forgotten even the taste of life, even the very concept of life beyond existing from one day to the next. Mere continuance, where all the world is wasted away in idle play of emotions that once rang true. I am in a world where even the gods are forgotten, their bones washed away by time.
True.
A world where man has moved on, where all the legacy I have left are 3 sentences on Wikipedia.
What are the 3 sentences? And honestly, I want to know, like, I doubt, because this is just like an SCP, story. I doubt there's any background on this particular SCP. If there is, let me know. But is he actually just more than what meets the eye to it? Is he something that was, greater than just a little Among Us character in his past life? This is really interesting.
I thought my time had come again. I thought this could be the new me. But this is nothing.
The new you.
Let me stay dead this time.
Yeah, that's it. Wow. That was really, really interesting. But I like this SCP. This was a really interesting concept to take from a game and bring it into the SCP universe. They did a really good job. And this SCP is really dangerous. I want to know how they could actually try to stop this. I'm sure other creators on the tube will actually, you know, make personal videos of this SCP. I'm sure it's a new one that just sprung up. So yeah, I'm glad I got into this reaction when I did. It was awesome to dive deep in it with the family. If you guys enjoyed it, please remember to smash that like button. Also smash the sub button, join the family if you're not part of it already. And also hit that bell so you always stay plugged with each and every upload. And unfortunately, that concludes today's episode. However, I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private